지금 다운로드 받으세요.
Welcome, everybody, to the SSL Season 2 of 2016. I am Valdez. With me is Wolf. He's back.
I'm back.
Dream Hack. How are you doing, man?
Good. I've had a long journey.
Yeah.
But that's just
Took
the way
some
it
long
is.
flights, and you finally got here. But
Yeah.
how are you feeling now?
Feeling pretty good. I'm ready to cast some StarCraft. I've been in Heroes mode for a few weeks, and I'll be totally honest with you guys at home. I've checked all the results while I was gone, but I literally got back in last night. Went right to sleep, and the second I woke up, I came down here. So I know everybody who won over the last 2 weeks in Pro League and in GSL, and also last week's Star League. But I haven't seen the games, so please forgive me if I'm not like 100% on the new meta.
You've also forgotten something else, Wolf.
What's that?
Your glasses.
I know. I got
Where
them
are
with
they
me.
today? What?
I got them with me. I just didn't put them on yet because I'm like a bit flustered.
You
I'm
gotta
all
get
over
them
the
on.
place.
You gotta, you know.
I'll put them on
This is
right
what
now.
we do at
Ready?
the SSL, right? You gotta have your glasses.
All right.
You
Hold
have your notepad. You're ready to, you know, take down some notes. Okay. He's actually gonna put his glasses on here. This is what we do at the SSL. We have a Wolf in his glasses.
They're a bit not as clean as I was hoping. I'll have to take care of that in the break. I can still see with them now.
Yeah. But guys, this is gonna be a sick group. This is the group of death.
Yes.
It's got a ton of really good players. I mean, Losira, Zest, Mars, Superhero Reality, and you can see the results of the other groups too. But this group is really interesting because it looks like there's going to be 3 straight winners, right? Zest and Mars are out of the gate, like they're getting through, right?
Yeah,
Unless they
easily.
really mess up, something goes really wrong today, okay? Those 2 are definitely getting through. Hero is the other shoe-in, right?
Yeah.
But for me, you know, sometimes I feel like he messes up sometimes, especially when the pressure is on, even though he is CJ Antis' ace. So I'm kind of worried for him, especially because Super's in this group. He's really been doing well, like taking out some big names in Pro League. You know, the type of where everybody votes against him because his opponent is so strong and then he beats him anyway. That kind of stuff. So Super is really in there as the dark horse for me. Obviously, Reality and Losira are also really good players as well.
That's right, and I do feel like that Hero should be the third one out. This group is the group of death simply because there are those 3 top players in the group. Super obviously kind of being the 4th, you know, when you look at recent results.
Yeah.
But I think this group is hell and death for the other players. And Losira is one of those other players. The Losira being the only Zerg left alive in Codes after last season. So he is in Codes, so if he loses here, it's not the end of the world for him. It's not the end of the year for him when it comes to Korean StarCraft, but definitely one of the underdogs in this group.
Yeah. He had an interesting road into the SSL, actually, this time around. He beat Stork twice, 2-1. And obviously, Stork nowadays is a player/coach, mostly a coach. So he also got O2'd by Alive, Losira did. So he didn't have the hardest road to get in here, to be honest. And he's going up against this guy, his teammate, Zest, who 2-1'd Bjorn. And Bjorn is actually doing really well these days. So
yeah,
not an easy win there, obviously.
He did drop a game to Horror, though. And his final game there that's listed is actually defeating Cholyu. Doesn't even have an English ID. No one knows who he is. You can see his career. He has a lot of wins. He's reviewing the map list right now. He has that same paper that I tweeted earlier.
Yeah. It's like, what map are we playing on again? I don't actually know. Let me take a look. Both Zest and Losira are on KT. They are teammates, so they are going to be playing each other twice here in the very beginning, just to make sure no shenanigans are going on, you know?
Yeah.
Just to make sure they get their games out of the way.
You never want to have teams end up playing against each other, you know, a team kill at the end. That's going to be a deciding match in the group.
Of course. So, guys, let's jump into game number 1 of a potential 30 games today of the SSL Group D. Here we are on Invader for game number 1. And up in the top left in the red, it is the Zerg player Losira from KT.
And down here in the bottom left, in blue, his opponent, it is Zest, the Kingslayer, GSL champion and Royal Roader. And
I love that you say Kingslayer still.
yeah, it's been a long time.
He's a king now. He slayed all the other kings, and now he has actually taken the throne. As I think we can kind of all agree that Zest is the best player in the world at this point.
I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah. I mean, both Dark and TY were like vying for the throne. They were trying really hard, but actually, I think Zest is the best.
Yeah, I think Stats was up there as well. But Zest is kind of like Zest is the man that makes Stats the shadow of Zest. You know, Zest is basically the shadow of Zest. Zest is Zest.
And Stats is an unbelievably good player, you know, which it's so funny to say that, you know, another player can, you know, make him the shadow basically when he's that good. But anyway, guys, we got a Ling Rush here, a very quick pool with speed.
I think this is pretty reasonable considering that at these spawning locations, well, this map in general, but at these spawning locations is very difficult for the Zerg because the Protoss just puts on constant pressure. The rush distance is so short between these two bases that, I mean, getting ahead early is pretty essential for the Zerg, I'd say. If the Zerg does get ahead early, though, it becomes really difficult for the Protoss to secure a third base because it's so far away from the natural and away from that natural wall.
We got a scouting drone out here.
Ooh,
oh, what?
Looks like you want to plant a hatchery.
Well, here we go, guys. A very fun start to game number 1.
This is not out of the ordinary for Losira either. He plays like this all the time. He used to do this even back in the old days of Wings of Liberty. He would hide gold bases. He'd do roach rushes off of proxy hatcheries. It looks like it is going to be a roach rush as I say that as well. I mean, this is something we saw way back in Wings of Liberty. We saw it get a little bit more popular in the Legacy of the Void again, but this time with Ravagers, of course, because roaches can be transformed. They're more powerful. They can break down walls. And this is something that Zest does not know about, and Lings are just going to waltz right in here. That's not a tight wall.
Well, here we go. Right from the get-go, some damage going to go down. Already denying some mining here at the natural. And let's see what kind of damage he can get done. Speed does finish up. Yeah, he's going to be able to get some probes here.
Yep, already several probes coming off to try to fight, but 4 isn't going to be enough, especially with good micro from Losira. Look at that, just forcing a ton of probes offline. Gets the snipe and escapes with 1 health. And now the Lings continue to run around the main base. 5 roaches on the way, and don't forget, with that second hatchery finishing up here, you can actually make them right outside of Zest's doorstep, something that Zest isn't even yet aware of. If that first pylon goes down, there's not going to be any overcharges available.
Wow, I was wondering about this actually. He kept 1 Ling outside of the base to make sure that he denied any probes getting into his base, and he finally found that on the map and killed that probe. So Zest has no scouting information. He doesn't know what the follow-up is, if this is just early Lings, or is he actually going all in? He's going to know now that the hatchery is right outside his natural.
He needs to make a ton of pylons, here. I think. I mean, he doesn't have a forge. He's starting that just now. He has 2 pylons at the front of his ramp. Going to add a secondary gateway wall here, but he's going to see this Ravager, and that pylon's not going to last very long. He needs to keep the Mothership Core alive as well. Just 1 additional pylon here. I think he should be making more, to be totally honest. Okay, here's another one.
Yeah,
the wall's already down.
Here we go. The overcharge goes down, and he can't block the roaches. The roaches get in, and he only had 1 stalker. The sentry is not yet done, so now he's just going to waltz into the main, and there is no defense here for these probes.
Nothing whatsoever. I think this is basically just simply game over. The probes, maybe some of them will escape. Maybe. He doesn't actually kite to chase. The wall does get recompleted up here at the top, and there is a sentry, but it doesn't last for very long. Force field way too late, and that sentry actually may go down to the Lings. Doesn't matter.
It will. A second sentry comes out here. Looks like Warp Gate research is done, and he's going to be able to make some units, but already the damage has been done. 10 probes going down. He's had to build a lot of pylons, and there's more damage that's going to come here. The roaches are still in the natural here.
Keep in mind, though, if he stabilizes right now, I mean, he does have a cannon. He has a better worker count. Losira doesn't have a hatchery at home, and I feel like he definitely could have prioritized probe damage a little bit harder there. Or just simply killing the buildings at the front, but he kind of just ran his roaches around for a while. The probe survived. He still has 2 Nexi. Here's another round of Warpins. You know, it looked like that was all said and done and it was all over, but as it turns out, Zest absolutely does have a fighting chance now because he still has that probe count. He's got 2 mining bases.
Yeah, he's definitely hanging on here. And what is Losira going to do? He's just making only units. He is 100% all in, and he gets a semi-surround here on the Adepts. Although there is a cannon and an overcharge and another warp in.
Yep, 3 more Adepts coming in, and that photon overcharge plus the photon cannon. I think that this is actually as much as we called it over before, almost Zest secured win here. He just had enough to get those few warp-ins up. The gateways were placed to the left side where they couldn't be sniped. And he's going to keep poking here. I guess the best chance Losira has is just simply to break through and hope that Zest makes a mistake. But look at this, another tight wall. Doesn't get depths to block, and he's moving out now.
He commits to killing the cannon, and he can't even kill the cannon. Now he's just making only roaches and lings, but there's already a very strong Protoss force here. Zest about to have another overcharge. And even just with the 3 gates, the consistent warp-ins coming in, I don't think that Losira can keep up, and I think Zest is going to take this one.
He's a god, man. He had like 10 roaches and a Ravager in his base, and he had no units. He still survived. Kept his probes alive, microed them, kept that cannon up at the front wall. Did have that secondary wall with the sentry as well, so Losira, I think, definitely making some micro mistakes, some execution mistakes overarching in this game, but Zest microing really well, making all the right decisions. Looks like he's just going to take the win here.
Yep, another warp and a Stalkers, and all of Losira's units going down here. He is making a round of lings, but that's not going to be enough. GG Zest taking game number 1 here at the SSL Group D. Off to a good start, kind of what we expected.
And notice an interesting patch on Zest's arm. Looks like he recently donated blood or something. Not entirely sure what that's about, but
really?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
It's on his right arm. I don't know what it is. We'll get a shot of it in a second because this is going to be a rematch. But that was the away win for Zest. So that was Losira's map pick versus Zest, and I got to make sure I start this the right way because I don't have a pencil again.
Do you actually have another pen?
Yeah, just give me 1 second.
I'm the caster that comes down. I don't have a pen, and I just mooch these pens off my co-casters.
Hopefully this one works.
The last time with Dan, the pen that he gave me just ran out, actually. But we made it work. We were sharing pens.
That's all right. Pen buddies for life. All of us over here at the Star League, the casting here for the group stage for Challenger. We all just work together, give each other pens.
Well,